Earlier today, I got off work. It's Friday today, and I did what most people do right after work on Friday. I dragged my sorry carcass into my apartment, and I just laid down for a couple minutes and just really let myself exhale and thank God that the week was over, uh, and I can finally rest for a little bit. And after taking a nap, I had an urge to go out for a walk. Finally, over here up in New England, it's finally warm enough to where we can actually go outside and not die from frostbite. And on my walk, I decided to go without my headphones. And usually I have my headphones on all the time. I'm always listening to music or listening to a podcast, listening to something on YouTube. But for whatever reason, I decided to go without them. And while I was out for my walk, I started to really reflect on just my life in general at the moment. And I kind of had a realization while I was out for my walk, and I just I just kind of asked myself the question of, am I happy at the moment? And then that led me to like a further tangent of like, no, I'm not happy right now. But when was the last time I actually was? And then that led me even further into a rabbit hole of like, okay, what is it that actually makes me unhappy? Like what am I actually unhappy about? And then from there, I started to just kind of make a checklist or took inventory, right? I think that's a better way of phrasing it. I started to take inventory of just everything that makes me feel like crap and not satisfied with myself and I guess my life in general. And after kind of having this itemized list in my head, I when I got back from my walk, I wrote it all down in a notepad. And after looking at everything, I realized that there are there are things that are currently making my life difficult that I just can't control. Like, I'm not, Lord knows I'm not controlling the gas prices right now or, whatever it is that goes on in the world. But I've realized that that is such a small fraction of what actually makes me unhappy. And the rest of the things on my list, I sat there looking at them and I'm like, well, I can change this. Uh, these are all things that I can control, that I can do something about, and that I've tried to do something about and have either half-assed it or not even, given it my all, or I don't know how to describe it. Things that I've done, but that I've undone years later now. Like, I was so overweight and then I lost 50 pounds over the course of a year. And then within the last 2 years, I've struggled to lose 10. It's always lose 10, gain 10, or things like stopping, not smoking as much marijuana, but every time I stop, I feel great. And then I start to slip back into it little by little, or I just go, oh, just this one time, let's do it just once. And then that spirals into me not being able to stop again. And even worse, nicotine. I mean, good Lord. Thankfully, I haven't smoked a cigarette in 2 years, but Replacing that with vaping is not much better. But see, those three things are things that I can control. I make the decision to go to the dispensary and hand my card over to the register. I choose to buy the bullshit that I eat. I choose to go and buy. I choose to go to the vape shop and buy this vape. There's no one making me do these things. Like, it's just me. It's just me and my bad decision making. And I sit here now after taking inventory and I go, if you can't name, if you can't even remember being consistently happy in about a decade, and all these things that are bothering you now were bothering you a decade ago, what the hell have you actually done? Why is this still a problem? You should have fixed this years ago. And then it just kind of socked me in the face of, like, here I am, oh, woe is me, and realizing that everything that bothers me, most of the things, not everything, most of the things that bother me, I can do something about. I'm in control of. I let these things control me when it should be the opposite. And then all I do is sit here and complain about it instead of actually doing anything about it. And I feel like life goes so fast. Like, there are times where, we all where I'm just living my life day to day, and I just kind of get stuck in this passenger mode where, like, I'm just kind of sleepwalking through my life and not really in control of anything. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. Like, I feel like days like today, where I really sit down and just really sit alone with myself and have just an honest conversation with myself about where I am. Like, I feel like me and everyone else, I mean, maybe everyone else does do this, and I'm just slow as hell. Um, I I feel like with the speed of life, and constant news cycles, the repetitiveness of work, all the tasks we have to do every day, we just kind of get lost in the sauce, I guess. Like, you're just so caught up in it all that sometimes you really forget to stop and think about where you are in the present, and think about, if we're really just happy in the moment, and really contemplate why it is that you do the things that you do every day. Is there anything that you can change? Is there anything that is bringing you down so hard that you just can't afford to keep doing? And I feel like finally having that conversation with myself can finally kickstart something here. And I feel like for the first time in a while, I can kind of see a light ahead, and just really feel good about the things that I can do. And I feel like none of that would have happened if I had just not taken the time to just kind of slow down and really think to myself, and take inventory, and come to the realization that I'm not happy. But through that, I can change and find a path forward here for myself. Man, I can't even describe the excitement that fills me, man. And I feel like from now on, I just gotta remember to slow down every once in a while, and just kind of take time to, you know, read my own thoughts and kind of see where I am. Uh, I mean, even doing this is something different that I've never done before. I mean, I would have never thought to do something like this, but I mean, why not? I mean, I got a mic and I need to just vent into the void somewhere. So, this kind of gives me a platform to do that. So, yeah, I guess that's it for me. Thanks. Catch you later.